Today, we're going to take an in-depth look at the clan boss. Finally, he sleeps here. Today, we're going to look at the clan boss in Raid Shadow Legends and briefly chat about the top 10 things you need to remember when taking him on. First, though, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications here at YouTube. If you're watching this video and you want to support the channel, click the button. It's honestly the easiest way to show your support, and it takes nearly zero effort. Like, just press a button. Click. Here he is, the Demon Lord, aka the clan boss, in all of his glory, standing in the shallow end of the pool of molten lava, probably about 3 or 4 rings deep into Dante's Hell. Little fact you might not know, Eugene. That's the Demon Lord's real name. Eugene Harold Krabs. Anyway, what makes the Demon Lord so different in Raid is you're not meant to kill him. You cannot kill him. You're only meant to do as much damage as you possibly can in as many turns as you can possibly last. The damage you do, along with your clanmates' damage, accumulates every 24 hours. If your clan can pull together enough damage and deplete his health entirely, you still don't kill him, but it does double your rewards at the end of the day. You have to use a clan boss key to take him on. Now, the keys take 6 hours to generate, or you can buy them with 150 gems apiece, but you can only hold 2 at a time, which means you can really only battle him 3 or 4 times in a 24-hour period just by using the keys that recycle, unless you're going to spend gems to go for extra keys. There are 6 different levels of clan boss, each with his own max HP from easy all the way up to ultra nightmare. Now, each day when the clan boss resets to full HP, he takes on void affinity. Now, once he reaches 50% HP, though, he'll take on a random affinity, spirit, magic, or force. And as you can see right here, the ultra nightmare, because we've got him down to 9%, is taking on the force affinity. The clan boss, Eugene, is super predictable. He only has 3 attacks, and they run in perfect order. First, he'll use his A3, which is an attack all enemies hit, an AoE. That hits every member of your team with 1 hit when he's void, but it goes to 4 hits once he's dropped below 50% and taken on a standard affinity. Now, once he's taken on an affinity, this also places a 25% increase attack buff on the Demon Lord for 2 turns. Second attack is his A2. It's another attack all enemies. This one places a debuff on your entire team for 2 turns, and that debuff depends on what affinity is. For Void, when he starts out, it's just a 2.5% poison. But once he drops below 50%, if he goes to Force, it becomes a 25% decrease attack. If he goes to Magic, it's a 25% decrease accuracy. And if he goes to Spirit, it's a 25% decrease speed. Now, his third attack is his A1. It's a single target hit that deals damage according to your champion's max HP. Now, the higher your HP, the harder this one will hit his target. Now, it's also going to place a stun debuff on whoever he does hit for 1 turn. Now, due to the clan boss's cooldowns, that order is going to repeat over and over. A3, A2, A1, A3, A2, A1 for the entire duration of the battle. Now, he also has 3 passives that you can see here. The first one sets him up for what works and what doesn't. His Infernal Resilience passive gives him immunity to stun, freeze, sleep, decrease speed, turn meter reductions, and HP exchanges. It also says he'll take less damage from poison and HP burn, but if he's immune to everything else, those are still going to be your 2 best plans for attack. Now, a second passive called Gathering Fury increases his abilities based on his turns. So once he hits 10 turns, the damage you'll receive from all of his skills will increase with each subsequent turn. Starting with his 20th turn, that increase in damage increases further. It's like more exponential with each turn. Eugene basically cranks it up a notch. At turn 50, though, all of his attacks ignore block damage and Unkillable, plus any champ killed by him after turn 50 gets a block revive as well. Now, at 50, you're basically f***ed. Now, his third passive, Almighty Immunity, must have been given to him by my mom because it just reiterates everything that we've already said. He's immune to stun, freeze, and sleep, and HP exchange effects. Mom also says, though, here that Eugene is immune to provoke, block skills, block passive skills, fear, true fear, petrification, HP balancing effects, and cooldown increasing effects. Now, that's a huge list of what doesn't affect him, so knowing what does is super important. Now, that's a complete overview of the clan boss. He's huge, he can't be killed, he's going to kill you, and when he talks, he sounds like Kurgan from Highlander. Now, here's my top 10 tips for taking on the clan boss in no particular order. Okay, so number 1, more turns equals more damage. So basically, the quicker you are and the more turns you can get in, the more damage you're going to deal. It sounds pretty obvious, but people let that go and they don't realize that speed is that important in the very beginning. Ally attack will allow you to get more turns. Counter attack buffs will allow you to get more turns. Gear is also an issue. Retaliation gear gives you a 35% chance to counter attack, which can come into play in clan boss as well. Relentless gear, which is a hard one to come by, which can be huge, gives an 18% chance for an extra turn. Now, revenge accessories such as this banner here also gives a 5% chance to counterattack. Now, there are revenge banners, there's revenge amulets, and revenge rings, so they stack. So if you can get all 3 on one champion, it's up to 15% of a chance to counterattack. Now, for debuffs, the only 2 that can do direct damage on the clan boss are poison and HP burn. Poison is more effective than HP burn as well, so when building a team, keep that in mind. They both work, but poison is more effective. There are weaken, decrease, defense, and both of those will give your damage dealers a chance to hit even harder. And then you have decrease attack, so you can stay alive longer because more turns equals more damage. And somebody like Fane, who does all 3, she's going to place decrease attack debuffs for 2 turns on her A2, and then her A3 has decreased defense and weaken possible. Skip the HP and just focus on what your champ needs. Defense does more to keep you alive than HP, because the more HP you have, the harder the clan boss hits. Now, if you have someone laying down debuffs, instead of focusing on HP, focus on accuracy. If it's a damage dealer, make sure you have 100% crit rate and heavy crit damage. Also, depending on the champ, their skills may be based off of factors other than attack too. So you're also going to want to avoid flat stacks, stick with percentages, especially for your chest plate, and just pay attention to what your champions bring to the table so that you gear correctly. All right, so number 5 is to be aware of who your stun target is, and understanding what affects that, how your stun target is determined, and what that actually means for the battle. So when he uses his A1, who is he actually targeting? And knowing that is important. So the way it works is there's a hierarchy of who's going to be hit. Number 1 reason he's going to go after someone is if a 1 hit can kill them. So that they have kill potential, they're going to be the stun target. Number 2 is going to be if they have an affinity advantage. So there's no advantages at the void level, but once you drop below 50% and it goes to spirit, magic, and force, if someone has an affinity disadvantage over, or actually that would be under the clan boss, that makes them a target. Up next is if they have a lack of buffs. So if everybody's buffed and one doesn't have any buffs, then they're going to go after him. And the buffs that they're worried about are like increased defense, unkillable, or block damage. There is another buff that does put your target out of turn, and it becomes the steadfast mastery. So if you have everyone on the same playing field, the clan boss can't decide who to go after. if one of those has steadfast mastery, he will not be the target. So if you put steadfast on all of them but one, that one then becomes your stun target. Up next, we have lowest HP percentage. Now this confuses people because it's not the lowest HP, it's the lowest percentage. So you got to look at their bar to figure it out. Okay, for number 6, you're going to want to look for skills that hit with damage based off of the enemy max HP. Now, Calvalax's A3 here is an example of this. It basically attacks all enemies. Damage increases according to the number of poison debuffs on the target. But that next line is what's important. Damage is based on enemy max HP. Damage for these abilities are scaled up based on how much potential HP the enemy has, not what they are currently at, too. So you're looking at like what their top is. And the clan boss has a ton of HP, so this is going to hit with a massive strike. Anybody who has enemy max HP abilities are going to hit really, really, really hard. Okay, number 7 has to do with their masteries, War Master or Giant Slayer. These are 2 masteries on the offensive side over on the left, and they're specific with bosses right now, and we're talking about clan boss. So we have War Master and Giant Slayer. So there's your War Master, and over here is your Giant Slayer. Now these 2 masters deliver bonus damage based on the target's max HP, so we know it's going to be big for the clan boss. Now the difference between the two is War Master can only occur once per skill, but his hit equals 4% of the clan boss's max HP. So it's 4%, but it's only one time. Giant Slayer, however, is 3% of the clan boss's max HP, but it can occur on each hit of a multi-hit skill. So now if your champion hits 1, maybe 2 times for most of his skills, then you're going to want to put War Master on. But if you have a champion that hits 3-4 times, then you're going to want to go with Giant Slayer. Okay, so number 8, the right gear can make a big difference. Lifesteal and like Bloodthirst, they are the type of gear that they heal your champion by a percentage of the damage dealt. So if that's on your damage dealer, that can help keep them into the fight early in the game. If we go on to speed, accuracy, and perception, these gears are all 2 gear sets. So that if you have a 4 gear set and you have those last 2 spots, speed, accuracy, and perception will help there. Because remember, a lot of this is about more turns equals more damage, and accuracy, if you're laying down poisons, is going to be important. And speaking of poisons, toxic gear is another one to pay attention to. Toxic has a 75% chance to place 2.5% poison debuffs. And if you're dealing with clan boss, remember poisons is one of the most important ways to lay damage down. And you can use this depending upon what kind of team you're sending in, if you've got room to put on additional buffs, because remember, you can only place up to 10 debuffs on an enemy at one time. So if you're watching your attack and you've got room for more debuffs, if you throw 1 or 2 of your champs into toxic, it can help compound damage by getting it to that 10 debuff max every time. We already talked about relentless because it does give you extra turns, but that is important when it comes into here, especially for damage dealers, because it's giving you an 18% chance to take extra turns. There it is. An 18% chance all the time. So that means like at pretty much every 5 turns that you get for that person, they're gonna most likely go another time. So you'll get 6 out of every 5 turns. Cruel, lethal, instinct, these all ignore a percentage of your enemy's defense, and that can really be important for a damage dealer if you're trying to put down big numbers. Number 9 is understanding the timing, because the clan boss is 100% predictable. I said that earlier. There's nothing you can do. You can't adjust his timing. He can't speed himself up. There's no decreased speed. None of that changes anything. So he does run on a set schedule. If you can tune your team to go in a specific order, having someone laying down decreased defense and weaken before your damage dealer hits, making sure you always have block debuffs on before his stun target, before he hits with his A1 every 3 turns. Understanding the timing is going to help you both stay alive and deal maximum damage. I do want to mention here, Deadwood Jedi's website, deadwoodjedi.com, has a clan boss calculator which allows you to plug in your champs, their speeds and abilities, and then shows what's going to happen. It's fantastic. I'll put the link in the video's description if you haven't already used it or check it out. Do it. It is a fantastic site, especially once you get into the higher levels of the clan boss. All right, number 10, this is the last one. Know your level. So if you've just started out attacking the clan boss and you're early in the game, it's going to be more important to get more turns and more damage. So speed is going to be the most important thing you're going to want to deal with. Now, once you get to like mid-level and you've started to really tackle it and you're moved up from easy, you're on maybe, let's say, brutal, it's going to be more important to have a crazy amount of defense. You want at least 3,000 defense on everybody. You're going to be focusing on your poison, maybe HP burn, and you're starting to work with your debuffs as well. And it's going to be more about how many turns can you get in than it is anything. But once you start to get into the upper level and you have a ton of champions to work with, then you're going to start building specific teams, building comps. You'll eventually get to unkillable teams. Where you can go 50 turns once you have the necessary champs to do it. Now, there are all kinds of different 50-turn unkillable teams. Now, this is another place I'll mention Deadwood Jedi's website, because there you can see a bunch of different clan boss teams, understand their timing that's necessary to put one together for specific builds, depending upon what champs you have, and more. So like what we're looking at here, this build, this is a Bat Eater build, unkillable, that goes all the way to 50 turns. And you use 2 Man-Eaters, a Painkiller, and a Seeker, along with a damage dealer to get the most out. So this is a pretty much a 2-key, an easy 2-key for Ultra Nightmare once you get all of the champions built and timed specifically on how to push it all the way to that turn 50. That's it. Clan Boss explained, and everything you need to know to start throwing up huge numbers. Remember though, if you found any of this helpful, make sure you subscribe here at YouTube. Check out my Twitch channel where I stream Raid, as well as check out my website, finallysleeps.com, where I spew brain vomit related to all of my content on YouTube and Twitch and everything. Thanks for hanging out tonight. As long as you keep watching, I'll keep making videos.